Acquisition of morphology. How does a child acquire the morphological system, the set of morphological rules of his or her mother tongue? That's a very important question. That how does a child learn the morphology of his language, how he uses a complex word? Does he uses some rules to understand or to use complex word, or does he just simply memorize the complex forms? Morphological rules have to be discovered on the basis of words that are formed according to these rules. Obviously, we make complex word according to a certain rules by joining certain affixes as prefix or as suffixes. The first stage in the acquisition of the language of a child, the acquisition of individual complex word. Does a child memorize the complex word, or does he apply the rules by how different affixes are added? So that is an important question for the morphologists. The child uses morphological complex word correctly without making use of morphological knowledge by retrieving them from memory. So according to this, the child has learned how to use complex word. He directly used those complex word from his or her memory instead of applying some rules. Next, he may discover certain recurring properties. For example, plural noun in English ending as can have allomorphs like s, z, is. So the child correctly apply these allomorphs, plural allomorphs to the words, especially to nouns. Rules with exception go a further refinement. So obviously there are certain rules of exception in this case, in plural noun case. For example, the deer does not have a plural, or exception where we have a zero morpheme, or where there is a word which has come to English from other language and is made plural on an other basis, or there is a affix to it. 3 stages of morphological acquisition. So Berko say that there are 3 stages of morphological acquisition of a child. Firstly, children learn a number of past tense forms of English verb by rote. So go and went are learned by rote, right? Producing correct past tense form of both regular and irregular verbs. So they can correctly use played and went, asked and went. At the second stage, children acquiring English have discovered the rule for past tense forms, but will also apply the rules to class of irregular verbs. For example, we have also discussed that generally children will make past tense of go as goed, right? So eat as eated instead of at. So at second stage, they make mistakes. They will produce the correct form asked, but the incorrect form goed instead of correct went. A case of overgeneralization. So this is a case of overgeneralization. When they added ed to asked, they also added ed to go or eat. In third stage, both the rule and the set of exceptions have been acquired correct. They have learned how to add ed with asked and how not to add ed with go, and learn its new form or its word form. So they correctly use asked and went. So the learning process has a U curve. The number of correct past tense verbs in the stage 1 decrease in stage 2 and again increase in stage 3. So this is a U-turn with which children of a native language like English learn different forms of the words. This learning curve has been found for many languages. In Romanist language, with a number of different conjugation for verbs, there there are many languages in which the conjugations of verb are more than 10. It is the default conjugation that is over generalized. So what they do is that they take the default conjugation, right? Conjugation mean go, went, gone, play, played, played, and they generalize it. In languages with case marking, the language with case marking, case mean accusative, nominative, dative, possessive case, and we have discussed in detail that they, in many languages, they have certain affixes. However, in English language, there is only one case marker for nouns, that is possessive. It is found in with the pronoun he, him, his. But in noun, the noun remains the same in nominative case and in accusative case. So in languages with case marking, children will use case marked word forms from very early on, because it is words in their surface forms, not stem, that forms the basis of acquisition. So they have not yet learned the stem concept, so they take them as a whole word. So they will learn the word along with its case as well. For nouns, the nominative form is usually the default case form used in all syntactic contexts. So they will use I, for example, in all the contexts, right? Children can discover the rule of case marking in syntactic context at a very early age. Russian children at an age of 2 years can use even accusative case correctly. In the domain of word formation, children discover the building principle of complex words quite soon. How we add different prefixes and different suffixes with the word. So the children learn it very quickly. The children are able to coin new words. We have seen that children coins new word. We have discussed it in derivational morphology, how they use one word in different contexts. So they are able to coin new words themselves at a very early age. Children coin words for concepts for which there are already established words. For adults, established words have priority because they are conventional above the new coinage, in accordance with the principle of conventionality that gives priority to established word and thus blocks the creation of new words that are synonymous to existing words. So adults are very careful to coin new words, though they coin new words compared to the children, because they know that what is the convention of the words. Since children discover morphological process on the basis of the word they are exposed to, they must be able to compare and analyze words and assign them morphological structure if possible. So they keep on forming words on the basis of their knowledge of morphology, how different words are made. Children appear to analyze word consciously and ask questions like, does cornflakes have corn in it? So children put up these very intelligent questions, which generally adult speakers do not, because they keep on coining new words.